What do you have to accomplish in the next week?
We're usually always pretty much done before we come. All the scripting for the week is done. Game planning is done. Obviously, you go back and you'll tweak a few things, but all the scripting for the entire week should be done. The game plan should all be done. We got to make sure our timing is right because we haven't obviously done anything in a week. So our normal Sunday practice will be a little bit different. We'll do some passing game to make sure our timing is back. But besides that, hopefully be on the field on and off. We've already done a Tuesday practice, a game week practice. We've already done a Wednesday game week practice. And then we did 2 bonus special teams practices because typically if you look at bowl games, it's ball security and it's special teams that usually mess people up. So we did 2 special teams specific practices, got 2 game plan specific practices in, and then we'll do our normal week, but the practices will be a little bit shorter and just make sure our timing's right.
Is Sunday tomorrow for you guys?
Correct.
Okay. And
we were actually trying to practice today, so then we could have our normal day off tomorrow.
Right, that would be Monday, right?
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do, but just this travel day, getting here, the meetings, all the things we have to do in terms of bowl responsibilities, it would have been too much. So that's why we'll cut back. We'll shorten the practices the rest of the week just a little bit because we're basically going to go 6 straight days.
James, Kentucky played Mississippi State, which obviously has some connections to your program. How much were you able to take out of the film of that game because they do so much that you guys have done? Really
valuable film. What you're always trying to do is you're trying to break down and study similar like opponents. People that run a similar defensive scheme as you, see people that run a similar offensive scheme. And obviously Mississippi State, it's unusual because both sides, obviously with their defense and with their offense, there's a lot of similarities. So that film was very valuable for us. So we spent a lot of time studying that.
And is it? Do you mind if I ask? Did you talk to Jomo or Shoop about? Do coaches talk about this stuff when you're friends with these guys about common opponents?
Yeah, we talked. I talked to Jomo fairly often, a lot of text messages and things like that, but not a whole lot specific to the game. A little bit, but as you can imagine, they're getting ready for their game. So neither one of us had a whole lot of time, to spend with each other, talking about something other than Christmas with our families or the bowl games we're trying to get prepared for. But yeah, there was definitely value in the film.
A lot of things to do here, but this is a business trip, so how do you balance both?
Well, it's not strictly just a business trip. It needs to be a balance of both, and we talk all the time about having a mature football team, and I want them to enjoy this. It's a great experience. And what they have to be able to do is they have to balance both. When it's time to enjoy themselves and go have fun, go do that. When it's time to be in meetings and when it's time to be at practice, we got to be able to do those things as well. And then we manage some of it as well in terms of curfews and things like that. Obviously, the closer we get to the game, the tighter and tighter our curfew gets. But we got to balance it. I want them to enjoy Orlando. I want them to enjoy the bowl experience. I want to, like always, limit distractions. And then, when it's time to work, it's time to work. And, we talk about that a lot. So I expect our guys to do a good job with that.
Can just the weather be a distraction? I mean, obviously it's not in the 70s back home.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call this a distraction. To be honest, it's very similar to practicing our indoor. So no, I wouldn't say that. Actually, in a lot of ways, I think it gives our guys a boost. From a morale, standpoint and excitement standpoint. You get off the plane, and obviously it's a positive.
Your family, you hit Disneyland at the Rose Bowl. Now you're here at Disney World. You looking forward to hitting the double? And your kids are.
Yeah, it's literally all our bowl trips are based upon where our kids can vacation. Our kids were fired up about this. So my wife has got an entire plan. I know a lot of the coaches' wives do, but I will tell you that's probably the biggest difference is these bowl trips for coaches and for families are very different. I would say they're very different even for the coaches and for the players. So, I think we try to manage that as much as we possibly can. Like I said, getting all the scripting for practices and all the organization stuff done ahead of time. So we're not sitting there watching film till, 11 o'clock at night, and we're not, up first thing at the crack of dawn. Most of that work's been done. So it allows the coaches a little bit of freedom, but obviously the wives and the kids have a very different experience than the coaches do. I would say for the coaches, this is a business trip. For the players, I want it to be probably 70-30, 60-40, in terms of football to fun. And for the wives and the kids, it's about 99 fun and 1% business.
How important is that 1% though? Because you usually get so little time with your families during the season.
Yeah. I think really the last 3 or 4 days, this is the first time we've spent Christmas at home, in a while. So that was nice. I would trade it, I would trade it, don't get me wrong, but
you would trade it for more coaching?
I would trade it for obviously, being in a little bit different, situation in terms of from a football perspective. Okay. But the time's been awesome. The time with the family's been awesome. Christmas, being able to take my girls Christmas shopping, which was really cool. We don't usually get a whole lot of time to do those types of things. So it's been good. It's been good. It really has. But now, that we arrive at the hotel, I think for the coaches, we still got a lot of work to do, and we'll go back through all the game plans and all the scripts. Make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and things like that. But I think we do a pretty good job of balancing. It's hard. I've worked for people where it's not. I have literally gotten off a plane and never gone to the hotel, gone right to practice and done 2-a-days at a bowl, literally. I tell the players that, they look at me like I got 8 heads, but I did that. We also got beat pretty bad. Because I think we were wore out, by the time the game came. So I think, over my years, 23 years of doing this, stealing from people, different ideas, things that I thought were good and things that I would probably do different. And then in my, 8 going on year 9 as a head coach, same thing, learning from things that I think we've done well in the past and things that we can improve on. And then having the sports scientists and things like that, and the nutritionists, all those things have helped as well to kind of bounce some ideas off and make some modifications. That was one of the modifications we tried to make after talking to the sports scientists about practicing today and having off tomorrow like a normal week. We've never done that before, but we'll do that moving forward, next year and years forward.
Academically, you seem to be pretty happy with where the team was. Last time we talked to you, are there any players that you have to be concerned about at this point?
No, we're in great shape from that perspective. I think we actually had 6 guys with a 4.0, which is good as we've had. Still, there's a couple grades that we're waiting on, but no, we're in a really good shape from an academic perspective. Everybody has been able to travel. We had some guys like that transferred, and because of transferring, they're ineligible. So they weren't able to travel from that perspective. But besides that, I'm real pleased with really what we've done academically since we've been at Penn State. Todd Kolka and Rosie Tarnowski and that entire staff have done a phenomenal job for us. So summer school and things like that, we're always getting ahead, not trying to kind of catch up. So we've been strong in that area, which, as you know, we take a lot of pride in. My staff, me personally, and the Penn State community.
And something we always kind of have to ask: do you have everybody for? There are other reasons that players might not be here, other than guys who have announced they're transferring. Do you expect everybody to be playing?
Yeah, we'll have one guy that won't be here. Since you asked, is Tommy Stevens. Tommy had an injury about the midpoint of the season that you guys weren't aware of, and had a lot of discussions about when's the right time to have the surgery. Tommy's family and the staff decided the best time would be to have the surgery was once his academics finished up and get through the season. He was able to do that, and now this will allow him, hopefully, to be full go for spring ball. So Tommy's not here based on that, right, Chris?